Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Pam Wilkerson. I am the Workforce Operations Manager for the Tri-County Council for Southern Maryland. And my director, Ruthie Davis, is unable to be on. We are having a huge virtual recruitment today for Tri-County Council for Southern Maryland Job Source. I would invite you all to kind of, if you haven't already uh, been made aware of what's going on there, it's something fabulous that Belinda Denton and Yvette Turner and their team, Jackie Chambers and Salorum, are doing today for our organization is fantastic. But in her stead, in Ruthie's stead, I'm just opening up this morning. Greetings, and this is a ongoing conversation that we are having with the construction industry. And so, Kelly, I don't see Ellen. So, if you have any idea of where she is or what how we are going to open this up, please unmute yourself.
Hi Pam, it's Kelly.
Good
I have
morning.
not spoken to Ellen this morning.
Okay. Okay. So, we'll give Ellen a couple more minutes and then we're going to jump right in. Folks, thank you all for your patience. We've had a little bit of a glitch, and so Ruthie is jumping on now.
Good morning, everyone.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Catch me up. Where are you?
I've done introductions, and just a reminder that this is an ongoing conversation from our town hall time, and the promise that we would continue to talk to this industry about our ongoing efforts to help to support what the needs are based on the COVID and that type of thing. So I'm handing the baton to you.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, since we met last, which was in July, and at that time, collectively, the group decided that it would be useful to have an ongoing conversation. So we have these roundtables scheduled quarterly throughout the next year. So we're happy to engage and happy to provide this platform, not only to share information with you, but more importantly, to hear more about your needs, how they might be evolving during COVID, what you see down the road 6 months, a year out. So we wanted to continue that conversation today. When we met in July, one of the questions we asked the group was, are you interested in a career certification? And it's the National Career Certification. It's done by ACT, the same ACT that does the ACT and the other national recognized testings. And if we were to go this way, the career readiness certification would give individuals it would affirm their ability to think critically, analyze data, work independently, and communicate effectively. So the group said yes, they might be interested in that. We did convene on August, I believe it was the 26th, with representatives from all the industries to talk about that. We had the leader from the ACT organization discuss what it was all about. And in fact, the bottom line is this certification is not at all useful unless business and industry see it as something they would take into account for their hiring. So that group expressed a great deal of interest in going forward with this. So at this point, we have engaged a couple of industry champions that want to continue to have a voice in this, and we are getting the word out through the chambers and economic development to as many businesses locally here as possible, again, to continue to gauge interest in moving forward with this certification. So the certification is online for individuals, and there are different levels, platinum, silver, gold, etc., that they would come out with that does affirm their ability to jump right in and be a valued employee to your organization. So it's not industry skills training, it's more career readiness, job readiness, critical thinking, basic math and English, all of the things that you want to make sure your new employees have before they join you. So that work will continue over the next several months. I believe we're reconvening that group in January to talk further about where we are, about how many business champions are on board with this. And again, we'll continue to gauge the interest of the industry as we move forward. So I wanted to share that with you. Also wanted to share the fact that the Tri-County Council's Workforce Development Division has a business engagement group. It's headed up by Belinda Denton, who is on this call. And we have several things to offer you. They're all free. I guess they're federally funded, so you paid for them in your taxes. But we do a great deal of customized recruiting. And what that is if a business has an opening or one or two openings or however many openings, we can advertise those openings and we can recruit candidates that meet your requirements. We have done this for years. We've done it since March virtually, and every business that we have done it for has said they prefer the virtual setting for these interviews. So I think I was looking at some numbers last night. I think we had 600 some customized recruitments last year, and 1,200 some individuals got jobs, and businesses got those openings filled. So we offer that to you at any time. We can post your jobs in the Maryland Workforce Exchange, which is a state job board. It is a valuable resource because it spiders in openings from everywhere, from Indeed, from websites, from classified ads, etc. So when we post your job on there, you can go in and look at individuals that meet your requirements, or we can assist you in that, in pre-screening individuals. Okay. Excuse me, that meet your requirements. So those are two things we do every day. We can also provide labor market information, which allows you to make decisions about hiring now and in the future, and about locations in terms of where the skill and the talent is that you need. And we talked about the fact at the, I think it was at the IT and Professional Services Town Hall, that many people at this point are content with virtual work. And construction, I know, is one of the industries where it can't all be virtual. People have to be on the job. But those positions that can be done virtually will continue to be done virtually from everything we've heard from the community. So I'm glad I'm not a commercial real estate person, because I think commercial real estate is going to be hurting. Belinda, would you like to chime in with anything else regarding services that we provide for businesses?
Sure. Good morning. Thanks, Ruthie. I think probably one of the things that I would just want to point out is our employee training grants. And those are pretty important in helping a business expand. If you need to upskill your workers and you're going to be paying for that training, then we can, excuse me, we can help you pay for that. So this allows the business to, upskill their current workers and possibly have more room for other workers so that that business can, grow and take on more work. We have been really successful in issuing those grants. Last year, we did just under $90,000 that we helped area businesses with. And, that's a really good number, a very good number. And this year, we won't get quite that far because of the COVID and funding, but we have money, and I encourage you to reach out to Jackie Chambers. I know you all are familiar with her. She can get that process started. She can get you the documents initially that you need. And there really aren't any conditions as far as the training. The training can be online. The training could be in another state that you're sending people there. We would just pay for the training portion of that, though. So, we don't pick the training provider for you. It could be CSM. It could be an online platform. However you want to do that, you just fill out a quick little, information form about what the training is and how long it is and how much it costs. And then that just gets the ball rolling. And we encourage you to do that. So yeah, that's probably about what I have, Ruthie, for that. Thank you. You're muted, Ruthie.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. I thank you, Belinda. I just wanted to add that we also offer businesses on-the-job training grants. And what these do is they offset the costs of training a new employee. So the requirements for this grant is you must make the hire, and then we will help you offset the costs of training that employee. So many, especially small businesses, find this useful. I've seen many occasions where a small business is actually able to add new help because of this grant, that they wouldn't have been able to afford it otherwise to train the individual. So small businesses keep that in mind. Large business as well, but it's been more popular with small businesses. Wanted to talk a little bit additionally about training in the construction industry. And then we want to open it up and just have a conversation, because this is your forum and we want to talk about what's on your mind and share any best practices or any challenges that might be for the good of the group. So Kelly, I would ask you, can you talk about the construction offerings at the College of Southern Maryland?
Sure, Ruthie. As everybody knows, the college remains in restricted access at this time. However, we do have approved access available to do skills validation and skills training on the regional campus. We are looking at potentially being open partially 4 days a week throughout this academic year, which will allow us to rotate our skills, our trade students in and out of their labs there. So we are currently running electrical training, HVAC. All of our welding programs will be coming back online in late October on the same type of schedule based on when the campus will be open, which will be Mondays through Thursdays, some daytime and some evening hours. Most all of the trades programs have returned with the exception of a few. The ability to deliver OSHA 10 virtually is not available to the college right now. And we are therefore not offering it. We hope that by January that situation will change. There are a few other smaller courses. A piece of our pre-apprentice program, the Flagger series, is not available virtually. We can't deliver it virtually per the course requirements. So we do have a few holes, but we are still working on what the workarounds look like so that all the programs have all their components up and running. And I'll take any specific questions about specific classes if there are any.
Okay, no questions at this time. All right, just to get our dialogue started, I wanted to pose a question to the group and gauge your reaction. And the question is, now that schools have opened, how, if at all, is your workforce affected? Who wants to tackle that one? Is anyone seeing a difference in your workforce requirements, the requirements of your employees now that school is open and many parents are having to work with schooling at home?
At Cheney, and this is Amy, at Cheney, what we have seen is kind of a settling in period. I think it has impacted our single parents significantly more than it has folks who have, two adults in the household, or even not necessarily two parents, but just two adults. And so we did create some flexibility for those folks. Obviously, we abided by the emergency family sick leave when it came to having to be at home with children because of lack of childcare, and having to monitor their schooling, sort of thing. But that has seemed to have settled down. We still have one or two parents that are outliers, that their children are having some difficulties really transitioning, that are over the age of 14, which kind of exempts them from that FMLA or EFMLA category. But obviously we all know, especially being in the construction industry, that there are a lot of folks out there that are hands-on and need that actual interaction and can't do it over the computer. So really, besides being a little more flexible and trying to accommodate where we can, I think we did have one parent who for about 4 days brought their child in so that they could monitor. We set them up in a conference room, and it was just the child and the parent. And, we just didn't use the conference room and allowed them the time they needed to still work, but also support as their child was learning how to navigate Google Classrooms or whatever platform their child was on.
Thank you. Anyone else? Amy, I've heard that from other businesses that when it's possible, they do arrange to allow their workers to bring children in if there's a way to accommodate that. So I applaud Cheney for that. Anyone else? Well, let me ask you this. Talk about your pain points. I know when we met in July, one of the pain points was being able to attract and retain entry-level laborers. Has anyone come up with a good solution for this that they could share with the group?
Hey, Ruthie, this is Grant with IAC Chesapeake. Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
I'm going to kind of take that a little bit and change and massage it, so to speak. I guess one of my big concerns is what is going to happen with CTE for the 3 counties down in Southern Maryland. And I think it would be very useful that maybe for our next meeting that we have representatives from the 3 CTEs. For construction, I know many of us look at that as the minor leagues for us, where we can recruit from. And I think it's very challenging with the uncertainty of what's going on in K through 12, of knowing how the CTE programs are going on for this year, because I know many of us look for these, what are seniors, and the skills that they're going to have, and how has that been affected for their junior year and now their senior year. And I think for many of us, that's something that we need to consider, because of our relationship with Kelly and the team down at CSM. They've been great to work with, but I'm not sure that the labs are being handled maybe the same way that CSM is handling it in the 3 counties. And that's definitely a concern of mine. So when we talk about our entry-level workers, does this throw the paradigm a little bit into disarray, because now our CTE graduates aren't necessarily going to have the skill sets that they've traditionally had, because lab access has been very limited. So sorry, it's kind of related to what you're talking about, but I think it's slightly different in terms of how do we handle this.
Yeah, I understand. We will definitely have CTE representatives for the next meeting and have that discussion. And we'll do a little work offline between now and the next meeting to sit down with them and better understand what their pain points are, and exactly what they're able to accomplish during this time. So we'll have that knowledge. And if we won't wait till the next meeting. If we have information, we'll reach out and share it with you.
That would be great. I just think it's something that's probably on a lot of people's minds right now. How do we prepare to absorb these individuals when they graduate, if they don't have the skill sets, it's going to change the paradigm for us.
Right. Okay, anyone else? Pam, is there anything you'd like to add?
No, I think this is good. I think that Grant brought up a phenomenal point. I've sat on these meetings around the table with the CTE programs, particularly in Calvert County, and that certainly is a feeder program in this particular industry. So it's going to be good conversation really to delve into how we're going to make that bridge now that with all of this disruption with COVID. So I look forward to making that happen. And And really, I know Jackie has her finger on the pulse on a lot of what's going on in construction as well. I don't know, Jackie, I don't want to put you on the spot. I don't know if you have anything else you want to add in that respect, but I really think this is going to be a phenomenal way to bridge those two conversations together from what's going on in the schools and what's happening in real time. Jackie, would you like to offer us any more on that?
Well, what I would like to do is chime in. Yes, there's been, and I do applaud Cheney for allowing, to be able to accommodate for the teleeducation piece. And I do agree that CTE, we need to get with them and get them involved, because I will tell you, talking with many of the businesses, and even talking with those that were on the last meeting, one of the things that kept coming up when you ask what skill sets are needed, and I'm finding out that it's hard finding that skill set for heavy equipment operators. And so as there's a need for that career piece as well, the heavy equipment operators, a lot of people say it would be nice if, if there could be a training. I mean, obviously with COVID and everything else, we don't see that. But in the future, could there be more, and I know it would be money, but could there be more simulators to really get that experience, with, certain equipment and everything else? Because it would just make things a lot easier to have simulators. I talked with ABC after our last meeting, and he said that is just huge. I mean, and a lot of these smaller businesses are, in the industry, there's only so much that they can do, and just trying to find that entry level that has certain basics, even in the equipment, as well as, that career piece as well. So I really feel that it's something to put on our plates to look at. Is there a way, down the road that we can implement some simulators? I know there's a lot of cost to that, but is there something we could work out or get grant money? Because I can't tell you, it's over half the businesses think that's been one of their biggest things, is the experience and equipment. Even with the 301 bridge project, getting people to have certain experience in certain equipment. So I wanted to kind of elaborate on that, and maybe there's something we could do entry wise, because again, simulators, you're talking, really down the road, that's a costly thing. But is there something that could be implemented? How you can do those virtual pieces to kind of like you get in there and it's something maybe on a lower scale and get that education there as well. And then just kind of connect those dots with CTE and with the skilled entry-level laborers as well. I want to say that one of the businesses I've been recently speaking with, they have a big project building a natural bridge and walkway, and they decided they're training. They said, Jackie, we're just going to train. I spoke with the superintendent. Unfortunately, he wanted to be on here today, but there was a conflict in the time. And he says, we're just going to train that entry level. I'm going to train a foreman instead of bringing in, just a foreman. I'm going to bring somebody in at entry level and train them to be that foreman. I'm going to do that same with a laborer. We're just going to take the time and try to do this. And then of course he said, I don't know how else to do it, because we just need people and we have to make the time to do it. But it's very difficult when they have timelines that they have to meet. So, but he says that's the route we're going. He got permission to hire extra people that would allow him to alleviate and train more people that necessarily don't have all the skill set, but has a little bit of the skill set. So that's pretty exciting that we have, those that are saying we've got to do something. If we have to do it ourselves, we'll do it ourselves. But it really would be nice if we could implement something to help out the industry in those areas, because that's where they need it the most. And it'll also save on injuries in the future if we really have that, and the safety part of it as well. So I just want to just kind of elaborate. That's what I'm getting on my end with speaking with the industry.
Thank you, Jackie. And one of the things that I'm not sure if the business is on the line, I'm sure we've mentioned this. We have a national dislocated workers grant that we've gotten from the state to help to get those who have been affected by COVID, who are unemployed, that needs to be to fill a gap with their occupational skills training. We can put them into training, and that's the whole idea of locking arms with the College of Southern Maryland and the trainings that they have available. And they're really being flexible during this time to accommodate the needs of our community as we forge ahead with this getting Southern Maryland back to work to really create trainings that would specifically um, uh, respond to the need of the industry now. And so any of those training needs that you all see that dislocated workers or unskilled laborers would have, that's the conversation you need to bring during this time as well, because then we can get these customized recruitments and get cohorts of individuals in to train them up. And we will pay through this grant for those who are eligible, which is very broad during this time. We can pay 100% of their training in any of what we call supportive services. Um, if they need anything that would reduce their barrier to education, including books, including, just some personal eyewear if they need that to help them to be successful. So just a couple of things that we wanted you to be aware that we have funds to support, even on the job seeker side.
Thank you, Pam. And I have heard from many businesses, and this kind of goes back to what Jackie was saying, that they are more than happy to train as long as the individual they're bringing on board has those essential skills or soft skills. Be there on time when expected, be fully engaged, be open to coaching and training, etc. So we do a great deal of soft skills, and we're getting away from the word soft skills. It's more essential skills um, training so that businesses can bring someone on who is prepared and willing and able and ready to work and train them up in the way they want them trained. So that's one of the other things that we do. And again, as Pam said, we can help offset the costs of, and in fact, pay for the cost of training for dislocated workers or those who are out of work today through no fault of their own, most likely because of COVID. What else?
Ruthie, I want to jump in. I can concur with you on that as well. I know, like in the past, when me and Amy had a conversation, she said the same thing. So not even so much sometimes this is the training piece. It's really just finding that right person that's going to be there, show up on time, and be willing to work and willing to learn. And if they have those basic soft skills or essential skills, and they show up on time and they're ready to work, you can train them to really do anything. Sometimes it can be a better thing. There's something always called bad habits. And you can take somebody that doesn't even have the knowledge or skill set of that industry and literally mold them to be what they need to be able, to be and be productive, because they don't have any learn what you call shortcuts or anything else like that. You train them from the ground up. Sometimes they can make that ideal person that can literally be promoted within the company itself. So.
Right, and we hear that every day. Okay, anything else for the good of the group? I want to be respectful of everyone's time. If we've shared what we needed to share and we've come away with at least one definite action item, which is to check out what's going on at CTE, what the projection is for the juniors and seniors in the CTE programs. And we have excellent relationships with the CTE principals. So we will have that conversation and report back to you. Anything else you'd like us to do on your behalf? Okay, well, I thank you all for joining us this morning. Have a great day. If you're involved in the 9th annual hiring event, it's getting ready to start at 10 a.m. Very excited about that. Thank you all.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Take care.